Welcome to ProKitchen University, an online video tutorial series, version 11. This video is part of the Mac Native Interface series for Mac users only. This video is a comprehensive overview of the ProKitchen measurement tools. ProKitchen software has several tools to ensure precise placement and provide clear communication of additional measurements on your design plans for the installers. To locate these tools, navigate to the bottom portion of the left toolbar. We will walk through each measurement tool located here. Before we begin, it is important to note that these tools may be used for multiple purposes, and the examples shown in this video are for demonstration purposes only and should not be considered the only uses for these tools. Also important to note is that when you use a measurement tool that is dynamic in nature, the last thing that is touched will be the item that moves. So be certain to always start the dimension line on the stationary object. At the top of the dimension tools set are two ruler icons, one horizontal and one vertical. These two tools are static in nature and will act similar to automatic user DIMs. To demonstrate these tools, I will work in the elevation view of this design. The horizontal ruler will create a user dimension that runs horizontally along the view in both the plan and elevation view. Left-click once to grab the tool. Move the mouse into the desired view panel. This tool requires a point-to-point placement. A purple X will display at a corner point, and a purple circle will display at a center point. Left-click the desired point to start the dimension. Then drag the mouse horizontally to another point, and left-click to secure the dimension line. The dimension will place accordingly to where it was drawn. If you prefer this dimension to be displayed in a different location, right-click on the newly created dimension line, hover into its toolbox, and select Move. Then move the dimension line into the preferred location, and left-click to secure. The vertical ruler dimension tool will work similarly to the horizontal dimension tool. Left-click once to grab. Move the mouse into the view panel, and left-click on the first point. This time, drag the mouse vertically and secure the dimension line at the next desired point with a left click. Again, using the right-click toolbox option of Move to relocate the dimension line if desired. The first of the dynamic dimension tools is point-to-point, used for creating a precise measurement between 2 points, or moving one item in relation to another based upon corner or center points. The center points of these two light fixtures need to sit exactly 52.5 inches apart. Moving them manually will leave room for error, so we will use the point-to-point tool to relocate one of the items. Left-click the point-to-point icon, bring the mouse into the plan view, and hover over the stationary light fixture. When a purple circle displays at the center point of the light, left-click to start the measurement. Then drag the mouse to the center of the additional lighting component. When a purple circle appears, left-click to create the dimension line. The new dimension has placed in a less than readily visible or accessible location. Let's move the dimension by right-clicking and selecting Move, then dragging the dimension line into a more visible location, and left-click to secure. Point-to-point is a dynamic dimension, meaning we can use this tool to move items by adjusting the length of the created dimension line. To do this, hover the mouse over the dimension line and left-click. Once selected, the dimension line will now be in red, and the current distance will appear in the length dimension field now available at the bottom of the ProKitchen window. Activate the field with a left click, and type the appropriate desired distance between these 2 points. Then tap the Enter key on the keyboard. Next up is the Multi-Dim tool. This tool offers you the ability to place a line that will indicate multiple distances and dimensions simultaneously. Navigate to the left toolbar and left-click the multi-dim icon to grab the tool. Drag the mouse to the plan view and hover the mouse over the item or wall in which you will begin this dimension line. Once a box appears at the desired starting point, left-click to begin drawing the dimension. Note: this line must be drawn in a straight line. Otherwise, the dimensions displayed will populate to reflect the distance along the angle of which it was drawn. Continue to drag the mouse over all the distances you wish to be displayed. Once the mouse is at the desired endpoint, left-click once more to create the dimension line. As you can see, now all the distances and dimensions along the newly placed dimension line are displayed. Multi-dim is a static dimension line and cannot be altered unless we move objects manually. If you need to know a particular angle in which cabinets or items are placed in relation to one another, you will need to utilize the Angular tool. Navigate to the left toolbar. Left-click the angular icon to grab the tool. Drag the mouse to the plan view. Hover over the edge of the first item, and left-click when the purple line displays. Then drag the mouse to the edge of the second item, and left-click once more when the additional purple line appears to create the dimension. ProKitchen will place a curved dimensional line indicating the angle in which the two items are placed from one another. This dimension line is also a static dimension line and cannot be altered except by moving one or the other of the objects the dimension line is attached to. The next measurement tool is Point to Line and is an excellent tool for finding centerline dimensions for plumbing, gas lines, or electrical outlets, or can be used to move cabinets or items to a predetermined distance from another item's center point. We are going to create the centerline dimension for the plumbing on our sink base. Navigate to the left toolbar. Left-click the Point to Line icon to grab the tool. Bring the mouse into the plan view. Hover over the sink base until the purple circle appears. Left-click to start the dimension and drag the mouse to the left or right wall or item depending on where you need the measurement from. Once a purple line appears at the wall, left-click to create the dimension. Again, the dimension has displayed too close to the design to be easily identified, so we will need to move this line as well. Right-click on the dimension. Select Move from the toolbox. Slide the new dimension into a more easily accessible area and left-click to secure. Point to Line is also a dynamic dimensional line and can be adjusted to fit your design requirements. But remember, with the dynamic dimensional tools, the last thing that you touch will be the item that moves when you alter the dimension line. So moving items to their centerline placement in relation to a wall may not work out quite so well. Because when I change the dimension as demonstrated earlier, the wall at the end of the dimension line will be what moves, and will inadvertently alter the length of the wall my item is sitting against. If you need to move an item to its centerline placement, this may be done while initially drafting and utilizing the left, center, and right dimension fields. The last, but likely the most versatile of the dimension tools is Line to Line. This tool will provide the dimension between two lines and offers you the ability to move items into the appropriate precise location within the design. The island in this design is not currently properly placed, so I will demonstrate how to move the island utilizing the Line-to-Line tool. Note: using the Line-to-Line tool for the purpose of relocating an island is best done when a single construction line is present and prior to placing countertop materials for best ease of use. Once more, navigate to the left toolbar. Left-click the Line-to-Line icon to grab the tool. Move the mouse onto the plan view and hover the mouse at the front of a base cabinet on the perimeter of the design. Once the familiar purple line appears, left-click to start drawing the dimension. Drag the mouse to the end of the island and left-click once more when the purple line at the edge of the base cabinet displays. The new dimension line will give the current distance between the items. The current distance is not in line with NKBA standards, so I need to move the island to a more appropriate distance. To do this, hover directly over the newly created dimension line and left-click. The current dimension will then be displayed in the dimension field below. To change the dimension, activate the field with the left click and type the required dimension, then tap Enter on the keyboard. This will move the entire group of cabinets without a lot of steps. I will need to repeat the process in relation to the additional perimeter wall. Grab the Line-to-Line tool with a left click. Place the mouse at the front of a base cabinet on the perimeter wall and left-click to start. Then drag the mouse to the face of a cabinet on the island and left-click again to secure. Select the dimension line, activate the length field, type the required distance, and tap the Enter key on the keyboard. Now the island is 100% placed precisely in the design for the installers to follow. We may also utilize the measurement tools in the elevation view. Open the elevation view by left-clicking the elevation icon on the top toolbar. For now, I will close the plan view to better see the elevation view by clicking the View tab at the top of the window and deselecting the first option, View. Now I can navigate to the left toolbar and left-click to grab any of the measurement tools. Bring the mouse into the elevation view, left-click the point or line, depending on which tool is being used, and drag to the point or line, again depending on the measurement tool, and left-click to secure. One thing to note is that dimension tools used in the elevation view are static only. When I left-click on the line, the dimension field does not display at the bottom of the ProKitchen window and cannot be adjusted. This will apply to all measurement tools used within the elevation view and should be used here for communication purposes only. With ProKitchen's measurement tools, precise placement of items, and adding measurements for communications to your plans has never been easier. Thank you for visiting ProKitchen University. Be sure to visit us at prokitchensoftware.com.